I have generated tens of thousands of dollars in direct-to-consumer revenue from my fan base as a completely unknown independent artist. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 metrics and 2 economic equations that every artist needs to understand if they want to generate more money from their music. My name is Patrick James Clark. I've been a full-time independent artist for the past 10 years, and the mission of this YouTube channel is to help create more middle-class musicians. I truly believe that every artist has the ability to make music their full-time job if they have the right tools at their disposal. And in this video, I'm going to set you on the path to making more money from your music, so buckle up, take notes, and let's dive in. For years, I was as guilty as any artist of focusing on the wrong metrics when it comes to measuring the success of my music career. I was really hung up on streaming numbers, social media followers, TikTok views, you name it. And it's not that those metrics are something to be totally discarded. Like, they do have a function, and those vanity metrics of having a lot of social media followers, having a lot of streams, are important for opening the doors when it comes to industry gatekeepers or getting into festivals, things of that nature. But we all know how much money a million streams actually puts in your pocket. And unless you're some sort of viral social media music influencer, putting all of your attention and emphasis on your social media is not a good use of your time. The reality is, at the end of the day, no matter which way you slice it, if you want music to be your full-time job, the only thing that matters is how many people are paying you for the music that you make. And that isn't sexy, that isn't flashy. No one's ever gonna ask you how many people you have on your email list. But if you want this to be your job, you need to find a way to monetize your music. And you don't need millions of followers or millions of streams to really be generating that type of profit. If you start dialing in on the money metrics that really matter for musicians. And those 3 metrics are cost per acquisition, average order value, and lifetime value. And those 3 metrics exist within 2 sort of economic equations. And once you have those numbers under your belt and you understand what they mean for your career, I guarantee you will change the way that you are running your music campaigns and selling your music going forward. Now let's dive into all of these terms independently, because you might have heard some of them before, but I really want to unpack exactly what they mean for artists and musicians trying to sell their art. Let's start with the first one, cost per acquisition. Put simply, the cost per acquisition is the amount you are spending to acquire a customer or a fan. Now, for the purposes of this video, a fan is going to be defined by someone who is willing to pay you for something. Now, there's definitely instances where that isn't the case, and a fan might just be considered someone to get on your email list. But to keep it simple for this video, a customer will be defined as someone willing to pay you money in exchange for music packaged in some fashion, whether that be a live show, vinyl recording, CD, etc. So cost per acquisition is usually understood within the context of a specific campaign, a specific sales campaign. So if you're running concert ticket sales or merch sales, what is the cost to acquire a customer? This is calculated by the cost of goods plus the cost of advertising divided by the number of customers that we've gotten in that campaign. Now, there's sort of 2 ways of looking at this. There is going to be some realities where your cost per acquisition of acquiring a fan is nothing. You might not have any costs of goods, and you might not have any costs of advertising. If you're promoting something that was free to make, like maybe it's a live stream concert from your studio, and you're promoting it organically on social media, and people are buying a ticket, then the cost to acquire that customer was essentially nothing, because there was no hard goods and there was no cost of advertising. However, when we unpack that to a broader scale and sort of more robust campaigns, we're going to have cost of goods to factor in and cost of advertising. Now, for the purposes of this video, let's take an example of selling vinyl records through Facebook ads. Now, you can definitely sell vinyl records in person at live shows, and that will change how you understand the cost of advertising. But again, to keep it simple for this video, let's look at it as an online digital sales campaign. So let's say we have 300 vinyl records at a cost of $10 per vinyl. That's our cost of goods. So we have $3,000 that we've invested to get vinyl printed. Now, also when we're calculating the cost of our goods, we want to understand the cost of shipping. And we know it's going to be $15 per unit to send them out in the mail. So $15 per 300 records is another $4,500. And now that we've calculated our cost of goods, let's look at our cost of advertising. Let's say we're running a Facebook ad campaign at about $50 a day. So $1,500 a month is going to be our cost of advertising. So when we add our cost of goods and our cost of advertising, we get $9,000 as our total cost. Now let's assume that we've sold all 300 copies of the vinyl within the confines of this campaign for the $1,500 of ad spend. So we're going to take our $9,000 and divide it by our total number of customers, which is 300, which gives us a cost per customer of $30. Now you can already see, before I dive into any more details, how important this number is for artists to understand. I've been so guilty of it, and I'm sure you've been so guilty of it too. You order a bunch of merch, you order a bunch of CDs, you buy them like 2 years ago. They sit in a box in your garage, and you don't really remember how much you spent for them. You sort of slowly sell them over a couple of years, and you hope you just end up making money down the line. But it's obvious that isn't a way to run an effective business. You have to understand your hard costs involved if you're going to be selling products in the marketplace. So keep that number of $30 as a cost per acquisition metric in mind as we dive into the second metric, which is average order value. Now, average order value, simply put, is the average amount of money that a customer spends when going through your campaign. For most people watching this, the average order value for a campaign like this is a fixed number. Let's say, for example, that we're selling our vinyls at $45, then the average order value of any customer that comes through our campaign, our sales campaign, is going to be $45. It's literally the most that they can spend on something. Now, something that a lot of musicians are not taking advantage of is what's called a digital sales funnel. And I won't dive into it too deeply here in this video, but to be put simply, a digital sales funnel is a series of web pages that guides the customer through the buying experience by making additional relevant offers to the thing that they already want. So if we bundle our $45 vinyl with perhaps a merch bundle or a sticker pack or a CD collection, something like that, we've made additional relevant offers within the buying experience, which will in turn increase our average order value that any given customer will spend when they come through the campaign. But for the purposes of this video, we will not assume that you're using a digital sales funnel, so the average order value for someone coming through and buying this vinyl will be $45. Now, here's where our first economic equation comes into place. We want to understand our cost per acquisition in relationship to our average order value. Specifically, we need our cost per acquisition to be less than our average order value if we want to be profitable. This makes sense, right? We need to spend less money on the thing that we're selling than we make from the customer. So if we're spending $30 to get a customer to purchase our vinyl record, and we're making $45 from every customer, we have a profitable sales campaign. And understanding those numbers alone might be enough for you to start building profitable sales campaigns. But the real magic comes when you start leveraging the power of digital sales funnels. And if you want to go super deep on how artists can use digital sales funnels to their advantage and generate tons of profit, I'd love to give you a free copy of my new book, Incremental Growth Theory. I wrote this book for Western University's fourth-year music program in conjunction with a music marketing course that I teach there. It is a deep dive on direct-to-consumer strategies, digital sales funnels, and how independent artists can use them to their advantage. Just click the link below to grab your copy, and let's get back to the video. Okay, now we understand two of our three metrics, cost per acquisition and average order value, and one of our economic equations, cost per acquisition being less than average order value to equal profit. So now let's dive into our third metric, which is lifetime value. Now, lifetime value requires you to take a bird's eye perspective of your music career as it pertains to the average amount that a customer spends within the lifetime that they are in your community. And when I say lifetime, I don't mean till you're 90 years old, but within the general buying cycle of a fan within your community. So maybe let's say 3, 4, 5 years or so. There's obviously going to be exceptions to that, but we don't need to look at this from a 30-year time horizon. Now, the quick sort of notes on a napkin way to calculate lifetime value, again, this can be more robust and a little bit more detailed, but if you want to get a general idea, you take the total revenue that you've ever generated from your music career and divide it by the total number of customers that you've accrued. So let's say over the last 5 years, you've generated $50,000 in revenue. And to be clear, that's direct to consumer revenue. So not radio royalties, not Spotify streams, hand-to-hand combat. People giving you money for the music you make. You've generated $50,000 in revenue, and let's say you've had 500 fans. Your average lifetime value of your fan is $100. Now, here's where that metric can really be valuable. Remember back to our other equation when we talked about cost per acquisition being less than average order value? Our second economic equation is cost per acquisition being less than lifetime value also equals profit. Because we might be in a position where we are going to lose money on a specific campaign. So let's say, for example, this vinyl record that we're selling, we're not making money on it. If our cost per acquisition was $50 and our average order value was $45, we would be losing $5 on every customer. However, if we know that we have a lifetime value of $100, it might be worth us in specific instances to lose money to get a fan because we know we're going to make it up in the back end. And once you understand that from a holistic perspective, you can really change the way that you take risks. You can change the way that you are kind of making investments in your music career because you understand the long tail effects of your music community. You understand the long tail of buying effects of your customer base. I'm willing to bet most artists watching this right now do not have an understanding of what these three numbers mean to them within their own music career. And let me be clear, that's okay. because now you do. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Start tracking these numbers now. It's never too late. You can go back and kind of retroactively track the money that you've made and start tracking it going forward. This will allow you to tour more effectively. This will allow you to sell merchandise more effectively. If you can understand the hard costs involved and understand the best way to leverage the amount of money you can get from your fan base, you will be building a profitable music career. And further to that point, you will be nurturing a better fan base. One thing that all artists need to understand is that selling is not sleazy for musicians. Selling is sleazy if you're scamming people. You're not scamming people by selling your music, and if anything, you're further fostering the relationship with your fan base by choosing to sell more things to them because they get to have a better experience with your brand, with your music. Music is a luxury item in the sense that the only reason anyone would buy it is because they want it. So if you're gonna take anything away from this video, abolish the fear you have around selling and start tracking your numbers today. And remember, if you wanna go super deep on these metrics and really learn how to make that average order value go through the roof, click the link in the description below, grab a free copy of my book, Incremental Growth Theory, and I'll see you in the next video.